So we had lots of Dragon Age news, reveals, excitement and uproar the last few days regarding Dragon Age The Veilguard, formerly known as Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So let's jump in and talk about everything we know so far. First of all, Dreadwolf no more. The new title, Dragon Age 4, is officially Dragon Age The Veilguard. In a bioware blog post from June 6, 2024, they state the name change is to reflect the emphasis on the companions and bringing people together to save Thedas. My first reaction to this is instantly Mass Effect 2, where in my opinion, the main story takes a backseat and the game and plot is really driven forward by your companions, your relationship with them and their side quests. Personally, as a fan of Mass Effect 2, and being my favourite Mass Effect game in the Shepard trilogy, I don't mind this shift in focus if that's the inspiration. Now we have confirmation of the 7 companions that will join our player character named Rook on this adventure to save Thedas. Now BioWare did release a companion trailer which caused a lot of uproar because it looked horrendous, but let's break it down a tiny bit. First of all, we have Lace Harding, aka Scout Harding from Dragon Age Inquisition, one of my personal favourites from that game. We have the Grey Warden elf Davrin alongside his young pet Griffin, which we have found out is named Asan, which I really hope is the baby owlbear of this game. We have Bellara, who appears to be another elf, known as a Veil Jumper. We have a Kunari Dragon Hunter named Tash, an Antivan Crow named Lucanis, the Necromancer Emmerich, alongside his skeletal companion Manfred, and finally Knave, an Ice Mage private detective, who we see more of in the gameplay reveal. We also see Varric in the companion trailer and gameplay reveal, however he is not a companion in the game, so please bear that in mind. Let's dig a little deeper. Our player character is known as Rook and is fully customizable. We can choose to be an elf, human, dwarf or Kunari, with a choice of classes from warrior, rogue and mage, just like the previous 3 installments in the franchise. Our Rook is able to select from 6 background factions that will provide dialogue options, as well as determine different buffs and advantages that Rook will have on the battlefield. Those 6 background factions are as: we have the Grey Wardens, the one I'll be doing for probably every playthrough. We have the Veil Jumpers, Shadow Dragons, Lords of Fortune, the Morn Watch, and the Antivan Crows, all of which represent our companions as well. Now while we still haven't seen it, the character creator is said to be the best in franchise history. Many sites who have had a hands-on demo have stated such. Eurogamer writes that there are 5 categories to work through: lineage, appearance, class, faction, and playstyle, each with a range of subcategories within, lineage being things such as race and backstory. There are also options for binary and non-binary pronouns and gender, if this is something that appeals to you as a player. Xbox Wire states that there's a body shape selector, and they believe they even saw a larynx customizer, further emphasizing that you can preview your character in various different lighting scenarios and outfits to avoid that awful green light creator in Inquisition, and you all know what I'm talking about. We all experienced it. That made your character look awful as soon as you left that cutscene. We all know it, let's not pretend. And yes, there's a hide helmet option for cutscenes. Now I was personally hoping that the faction backgrounds would provide a more Origins style opening, however, after the gameplay reveal, it appears that that was just wishful thinking. So I'm intrigued to see why our player character Rook will suddenly be interested in stopping Solus. Oh, and you also get to recreate your Inquisitor at the start of the game, for old time's sake. Now, this suggests that they will have a significant role in the game. I would guess at least similar to the role Hawk played in Dragon Age Inquisition. If we shift our focus to combat, our party is now reduced in size to 3 characters: our player character and 2 companions. This is a shift from the 4 character party size in the previous 3 installments, and this brings the game much more in line with the Mass Effect franchise. Mass Effect has of course used a 3-person party composition since Mass Effect 1. There's also a new combat wheel where we, as the player, can select abilities, as well as issue commands to our companions, as opposed to controlling them manually. There also seems to be a combo system, as can be seen in the top right of the wheel on this screenshot, where players and companions can use specific abilities together to cause the most damage to an enemy. The combat itself is also much more fast paced and definitely fits the action RPG genre we heard BioWare were aiming for, as compared to the classic CRPG style combat we saw in Origins. So far, we've only gotten to see the rogue class Rook battle through enemies, so it'll be interesting to see how the warrior class, and especially the mage class, handles in this combat system. Eurogamer also goes on to state that every class will have their own ranged option, such as the ability to throw a shield at enemies for a warrior, or in the case of the gameplay reveal, we saw Rook with his dual daggers and a longbow. Now, with this installment previously aiming to be a live action game, BioWare have confirmed there are no microtransactions in the game at all, something that should hopefully put a lot of minds to ease. Now, despite the art style taking the community by storm, whether you love it or hate it, Executive President Michael Gamble tweeted out this photo, showing the blood we hope to see from a Dragon Age game. Now, there's been no news about the famous Dragon Age blood splat all across the armour you received when fighting enemies, so we have to keep an eye out for more news as to whether or not that has made it into this game. Eurogamer provides us with information that Veilguard starts 9 years after Inquisition. Now, I believe Inquisition was in the year 941 Dragon, and Dragon Age Origins famously takes place in 930 Dragon, putting us around 950 Dragon. So our poor wardens are starting to age now. A lengthy, as described by Eurogamer, prologue begins Veilguard. With the Dragon Age keep now dead, players will choose what happened in the previous game through the use of tarot cards. And the gameplay trailer footage we saw is the very beginning of the game, set in Minrathos. IGN's interview with director Corinne Bush, sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, states that BioWare wanted to get the players straight into the action due to the RPGs being very lore heavy and sometimes overwhelming. PC Games N said that the deeper you go, you'll find the game to be just as bloody and grim as Origins 2 and Inquisition. So hopefully that can satiate us Origins and Dark Fantasy fans. One smaller detail is our new hub, our Skyhold or Normandy, for you Mass Effect fans, is called the Lighthouse. Whether or not it is an actual lighthouse, we don't know. Now, one of the biggest aspects of a BioWare game is the romance, and it has been confirmed that every companion, and yes, that means Scout Harding, is a romance option for characters of any gender, and non-romanced companions may develop relationships with other companions. I would assume similar to Dorian and the Iron Ball, or Blackwall and Josephine. And finally, in what I personally think is one of the best pieces of news to come out of this weekend, director Corinne Bush has stated with IGN that the levels are mission-based, handcrafted, with some levels opening up to have more exploration, including alternate paths, mysteries, secrets, and optional content. While not outrightly stated, it does sound like the game has moved away from the open world aspect of Dragon Age Inquisition, and thankfully, I think that's only a good thing. I think Inquisition suffered with a lot of filler and grinding that really took away from my enjoyment of the game, so having a more refined, mission-based, linear approach, I do think is a benefit for this game. Now, I have linked every article below if you want to check them out, and Game Informer will have a preview in their next issue coming soon for all of us to check out. But let me know below, what do you think about these changes so far? What ones are you excited for? What ones are you not so excited for? Let me know down below, like I said. Please drop this episode a like, subscribe to the channel for more Dragon Age news, come and check out one of my Dragon Age playthroughs or any of my other playthroughs, and hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys.